does Demetrious Johnson with his opponent, Joseph Benavidez, go into the concert together? And they're fighting in like 3 days.
Yeah. And then
You went to Coldplay with Benavidez?
it was a great concert.
They were holding hands and everything.
We're like,
They were crying.
it's a shitty situation, but at least we're getting this.
Homelander and Mighty are doing rounds tonight. It's going to be nuts.
Tension between Eddie Hearn and Dana White.
Yeah.
There is definitely a possibility of that.
I feel like every athlete has a high IQ, but when you actually get a chance to talk to them and see, like, why did you circle that, right? Like, oh, you took that option because you knew he didn't have an answer for you there. Each time Topuria touches somebody, or what he says, their head explodes.
Yeah, we all know. Don't say, I can't see. Unless you actually can't see. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, remember we used to work at UFC Tonight? You're like, spit it out, dear.
Oh, come on here, start talking
I'm not. Oh shit, here we go. I can't wait to talk about
All right,
it.
we are back with another episode of the Jaxxon Podcast. I'm sitting here with the greatest co-host of all time, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Bisping.
Very kind. Thank you.
Come on. And then we got the one and only, the newest inductee to the UFC Hall of Fame, ladies and gentlemen, Mighty Mouse. We're celebrating with a Mighty Mouse cake.
Thank you.
You like that?
It's delicious. I
We
like
had to
vanilla.
do that. We had to make sure the team knows. You got to celebrate these accolades.
No, it's incredible. Not only Hall of Fame, how many title defenses was it?
11.
11 title defenses, so 12 consecutive wins as a UFC champion. Of course, Hall of Fame. Saturday night, I was watching the fights, and like a moron, I saw it go to Brendan Fitzgerald, and I knew he was talking. They were doing a Hall of Fame induction, and he started off talking about Seattle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's from Seattle in the UFC? And then I'm like, oh, crap, of course. Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Congrats, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, I think Seattle is a very small niche mixed martial arts. A lot of legends coming out of there. Josh Barnett, Randy Couture. Oh, thank you, sir. Randy Couture is out of there. Myself. You got Lance Gibson. He just fought in the UFC. Yeah. Chase Hooper. I mean, the list just goes on. Matt Hume was from there. Michael Chiesa just retired.
T-Rex from Washington?
T-Rex from Washington. Terrence McKinney's from there. So a lot of guys from, in the UFC have been born and raised in Washington State. I wasn't born and raised there, but Washington State has a big mixed martial arts. Nothing nowhere near California, but it's got
still.
a big...
California's got a lot of the originators, like the Chucks and the Tito's, but a lot of people transferred here. Guys like Bisping then came here and did his thing. I want to kick this podcast off the break. I know we got Mighty for about an hour. You're in and out of the Jaxxon Media House today because you're training with Hamzat Chimaev here tonight at the camp.
Which I would pay to see that, by the way.
It's going to be incredible.
My little black
Come on. Hamzat and Mighty are doing rounds tonight. It's going to be nuts. But
You're a braver man than me.
Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm just watching. I'm just making content. I want to kick it off with the UFC heavyweight division. What do we think of the UFC heavyweight division right now, Michael Bisping?
Oh, the UFC heavyweight division is in a bit of a weird one. Obviously, well, it's been in a bit of a weird one for a while. We had Tom Aspinall come through, who was was incredible. I don't mean looking. He was absolutely phenomenal, and he's still phenomenal. Then he becomes the interim champion. We have the whole thing with John Jones. He's on the sidelines for a while. He defends the interim title. There was that whole mix-up. Then he beats Curtis Blades again in a rematch, becomes the undisputed. John Jones retires, doesn't retire, he retires. I don't know, that whole thing, right? And now we're in a situation where he got double eye poked. And we know none of that was his fault, and he's been dragged through the coals online. He suffered a really bad injury, and I really feel for the guy on a personal level. And now at the White House we have Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira for an interim title. So it's not a mess because that's a great fight. But through all of this, I do kind of feel for Tom a little bit.
1000%. I'm grateful that the UFC didn't strip him and just did an interim heavyweight championship, because that's something that was going on everybody's talking about that online, right? Like, they're gonna strip Tom because we never know if Tom's ever come back, right? Like, if I was Tom, depending on the severity of his eye, growing up, my best friend, his dad had a surgery in his eye, and then if he was to get poked in it, he would lose his eye. Granted, medicine has come so much further since the early 2000s. But yeah, it's a shitty situation, but at least we're getting this, and then hopefully, his eye gets stronger, then we can see who's going to fight. He's going to fight the winner of this. We get Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall, or we can get Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall too, right? So at the end of the day, I think, the heavyweight division it's not the premier
No, that's fair. That's fair.
At one point in time, I was like, if it was a heavyweight division, it was the premier. It was like everybody was stoked about that heavyweight division.
Yeah, from what we understand, or I understand, Tom's going to be okay. He's going to come back again. He will be fighting again soon. He should get the winner of this. I mean,
is it true Eddie Hearn is managing him now?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's a big management change.
Yeah, no, it is, and that could potentially complicate the waters. I saw something online. You can't believe everything you see online that he wasn't going to let Tom fight under his current deal.
Yeah.
Again, you
at the end of the day, it's a deal. You have to. Like, I always laugh because
you sign a contract.
You are, because the UFC could freeze him. They could do it. Like, for people who are out there who don't understand. So you have a 10-fight deal, 5-fight deal, whatever it is with the UFC, and it's for this amount of money, for this amount of pay. $500,000 a show, $500,000 to win. If you got pay-per-view points, then you get more money. But let's say I come to Michael Bisping and say, hey, I want you to fight, Luke Rockhold. When they did that, right? Yep. But Michael Bisping can say, I don't want to take that fight, or he can say, I accept. If he doesn't take the fight, I can legally give him a contract extension, right?
Well, that's what would happen.
That's what would happen, right? So if they come to Tom Aspinall and say, hey, we want you to fight Gane or Alex Pereira, and he goes, no, I'm not going to fight him. They go, okay, perfect. We're going to give you a contract extension, and they can keep on doing that to a certain point where it's like they can freeze you. Like legally, they can do that, right? So
I would assume, knowing Tom, that he wants that.
Oh, yeah, he'll take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he'll take either of those guys in a heartbeat. When you look at Pereira and Ciryl Gane, I mean, they're not the best wrestlers. However, we saw Ciryl Gane and Tom, the first round was playing out. It was a very, very competitive fight. I just want to see Tom back in the octagon.
Same.
That's all I want to see. I just hope, because I was talking about this recently, I hope he doesn't get dragged out and caught in some weird tension between Eddie Hearn and Dana White. There is definitely a possibility of that. I hope
could be sidelined for a long time if the managers end up having a feud with Dana White in the UFC. Because I see Dana White and Eddie Hearn having a feud back and forth about a boxing fight.
I
mean, that's incredible content right there. I think Dana would win. Dana used to train. He was going to fight Tito back in the day.
Yeah, that's
right. You remember that?
Yeah. Tito pulled out, if I'm not mistaken.
Tito was
the one that pulled out.
Because Dana White was training in the hotel room, like
he showed up for the weigh-in.
I
think. And Tito never showed up.
Tito.
I want to spend some time. One of the main goals of this podcast, I wanted to walk through the UFC White House card. I want to get Mighty's opinion with Bisping, and I want to see what you guys think, who would win and why. Kick it off with the champion, Ilia Topuria, fighting for the lightweight title against the interim title champion, Justin Gaethje. Mighty Mouse, what do you think?
I like that fight. I think it's a great fight. I think, after spending a little bit of time with Justin Gaethje at the Celebrity Football, the way he was fighting Patty Pillman, I was kind of confused. It's like, you kept circling this power. Then when you talked to him, he was like, he didn't hit hard. Patty doesn't hit hard. He can't kick. His footwork sucks ass.
Jesus.
So
that's why I just kind of went,
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. And then, him fighting Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria is probably one of the most technical, sound athletes that I've seen in mixed martial arts, meaning that his cadence of a rhythm when he boxes, when he hits pads, everything he does is like strategic, right? And so
it's also surgical. The precision is perfect. There's no telegraph. There's no opening.
Yeah.
He sets things up. The timing is ridiculous.
Yep.
And then of course combine that with the power that he has. I mean, one shot is truly all it takes.
Yeah, and Ilia Topuria can take a shot, and there's me talking to Justin Gaethje about that. So when I talked to him about that, I never want to give. I feel like every athlete has a high IQ, but when you actually get a chance to talk to them and see, like, why did you circle that, right? Like, oh, you took that option because you knew he didn't have an answer for you there. So he's going to sit back, look at what Ilia Topuria does well, which is everything, and he's going to find out where can he fight him. You know what? I think if I'm not rolling dice, if I have to make a pick, I got Ilia Topuria winning by knockout because that's just what he does. And I know Justin Gaethje, is Justin Gaethje going to wrestle? Is he going to kick? I'm not sure what he's going to do, but I know Ilia Topuria is going to get himself in a position where he can knock out Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Ilia Topuria, knocked out Volkanovski.
He knocked out everybody.
Knocked out Charles Oliveira, knocked out Max Holloway. Who did he just beat? Oh, it was Charles Oliveira. That was his last one. Justin Gaethje, you can't underestimate this guy.
No.
You can't underestimate him. Did he take some shots against Paddy? Yes. Is that concerning? Because, when you take into consideration the precision that I just said Topuria has, it's concerning. Yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and say that Justin Gaethje can't pull it off. Of course he can.
Yeah,
right?
it's a fight.
However, you look at the Max Holloway fight, where he got face planted, and you think, shit, well, that makes it a pretty easy pick for Ilia Topuria just based on optics.
Absolutely. Well, and the thing I always say, when we're in this position, like, we're giving our picks. It's not that we don't have love for Justin Gaethje or Ilia Topuria. It's us sitting down as gentlemen having a discussion. I was like, okay, when we look at everything on paper, right, and all the fights that Justin Gaethje's had, which is a lot of, you look at Justin versus Charles, Justin versus Dustin Poirier, Justin versus a lot of his guys, he's getting fucking cracked, right? And he's cracking them too.
Sure.
But each time Ilia Topuria touches somebody, for what he says, their head explodes.
It does.
Right? So.
And not just that, when Charles Oliveira tried to take him down, he won the scramble. And within seconds, had him in a crucifix.
Yes.
Had him in a crucifix. Then he got back to the feet. Yeah. Boom. That was it.
Yeah. So right now, he's probably the most complete athlete on the roster, displaying everything. So far,
pound for pound, the most powerful, I would say.
Yep, absolutely.
What do we feel about Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane? Alex Pereira moving into the heavyweight. Ciryl Gane.
Cyril
Gane.
Cyril?
Gane.
Ciryl Gane.
Cyril?
Cyril.
Oh, Jesus.
How do you say it?
Cyril.
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 Civil. Okay, so Civil Gane versus Alex Pereira. Okay, what do we, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of talk about Alex Pereira moving up into the heavyweight division. We saw what his sparring partner just did to Mansoor this weekend, which was incredible. How do we think about this fight?
DJ.
I love it. I mean, Alex Pereira is a big fucking boy. I just saw him in Seattle. I mean, I saw him jump on the scale, 242. Shama.
242. That's heavy.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And it's not a fat 242 either. It's
definitely filled out.
It filled out, but it fits him well.
It does.
Right? Like, it's not like usually people who put on weight and size, they don't have that same movement. They're not moving their head. It almost complements his style, his body, right? So I like that. Obviously, Ciryl Gane has great movement. You saw what he did to Tom Aspinall. He was popping in with the jab. You know, Alex Pereira does have that calf kick that he loves to throw every single time to stop everybody's movement. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how Ciryl Gane does with the pressure that Alex Pereira brings. You know, we're not going to look at, it's going to be stand-up war. Ain't nobody doing a fucking shot, right?
I'd be very surprised.
Nobody's shooting.
No one shoots in this fight. I don't think so. I just think from a kind of a man's code or a warrior's perspective, they both know what they're getting into. This is a kickboxing fight in 4-ounce gloves. I do think what makes it interesting, of course, I think Ciryl, the power will translate to heavyweight 100%. Can he take shots from a heavyweight? I think yes, 100%. However, Ciryl is used to moving at that weight with the speed and the finesse that he has. He moves like a ballet dancer. He's got incredibly quick reflexes, and the power is effortless from him. And he's used to taking those bigger shots from guys like a Tom Aspinall. We saw he did a bit of damage as well. So I think that gives Ciryl a little bit of a natural advantage.
Of course.
But it doesn't mean that Ciryl Gane can't go out there and knock him out cold. I mean, because he's only human.
Before Tom got poked, Ciryl Gane was doing good in that fight against Tom. I thought he was doing okay.
Yeah, no, he was doing great. He was probably winning that round. You know, and a lot of people point to that about Tom Aspinall, saying, "Oh, well, that's why he didn't continue because he said I can't see." And I've said this multiple times. Yeah, we all know. Don't say I can't see, unless you actually can't see. You know what I'm saying? You know, like some people go, "Oh, I can't see," but you can see. You can see, but it's a bit blurry or whatever. And this eye's fine. If you can't see shit, right? I think at that point you can go, whoa, hold on a minute. Never mind the fight. I can't fucking see anything.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's the truth. Right? If you can't fucking see anything, it's like when you're...
And it's scary as hell. I can tell you from a guy that can pop his own eyeball out.
Exactly.
It's scary.
Yeah, especially when you spend your whole life with 2 eyeballs, and then next thing you know, you're in a fight, and you can't see shit.
Well, it was a double eye poke.
Oh, yeah, so you can't see... It's just like when Henry Cejudo fought, right? Sonny Dong in Seattle. I was in Seattle, and he stopped. He was like, oh, I can't see... And then they went to their cards and they ended up losing the fight. But if you can't fucking see, if I was in a fight and I got fucking poked and I truly can't see, I'm not fucking fighting. Like, you saw what happened to you when your retina got torn, when you got kicked with the spinning kick from fucking Juice Vitor. It's like, this shit is life and death, right? So, you know, I think Tom Aspinall did the right thing, said, I can't see, I'm not going to continue. Since then, he's got so many eye surgeries to fix the fucking, eye poke. And it's funny because, I always give people a gripe, like, eye poke is something that's naturally going to happen in a fight, but I've never eye poked not one of my opponents. Not one.
I think I have by accident, and of course by accident. I still firmly, maybe it's giving too much benefit of the doubt, but as a fighter, Demetrious,
Yeah.
do you think fighters actually do that on purpose? Because my perspective was, if I can poke them in the eye, which by the way, on a moving target, to whoop, I got the eye, that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
If I can do that, I'd rather punch them in the face. So I don't believe that anyone's doing it on purpose. Could they be in better control of their weapons? Yes. But I don't think people are doing that on purpose. What's your take?
I think it's a natural feeling of our senses, right? You know, taste, see, feel. And I feel like when I throw my kicks, I go like this. That's how I was taught to throw them, was to open my hands up and throw them, not like this. And even when I throw elbows, it's like this, not like this. So I just feel it's accidental. Like, I don't think but when he's running, John Jones was notorious for it. He'll run away with his hands open. I just think it's something that as humans, we just do. But even though I never eye poked anybody, some people do, you know?
Next, we have a massive fight, which I believe the UFC is trying to, regain some stardom in the Sugar Sean O'Malley category. I feel like they really built him up for a while. Then he had to fall off, obviously, with Merab. And I think now he's kind of coming back with a big wave. I think he's a huge star for the UFC, but I do think he needs this type of fight to win. What do you think, Bisping?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's still a huge star. He was the champion. He ran into Merab. Merab was taking care of everyone until he ran into Petr Yan. And by the way, when he ran into Petr Yan, he was doing 4 title defenses in a year, right? Was that too much? Maybe. We don't know. Not taking away from Yan. Flip side, though, you got Ayman Zahabi. Not the biggest name in the division. Of course, after this, if he gets a win over Sean O'Malley on the White House, everyone's going to know his name. He's on a 4-fight win streak, I think. He's very good. He's just beat Marlon Chito Vera as well, which is obviously not an easy win. So, I think stylistically, this will play out on the feet. I think that favors Sean. Sean's tall, he's long, he's very, very fast. His boxing is beautiful. He really is. And I know coming into this one, he's fired up majorly. Obviously, it's the White House and everything that goes along with that. But more importantly, getting a win on a big card, becoming triumphant again, getting back in the winner's circle and showing the world, hey, look, listen, I ain't done. And if he gets a win, he's going to be fighting for the belt again soon.
Yep, sets him up nicely to hopefully get that rematch with Petr Yan, And I think Sean O'Malley, I don't want to say he fell off like what Bisping said. He ran into Merab, right? Merab is just somebody who's able to put a pace on people and take them down, which is
just
Sean.
Stylistically.
Yeah.
It's just a problem for Sean O'Malley.
Yes, because Sean likes to stay on the feet where Merab can take you off the feet. And the only reason why Petr Yan was able to counter Merab is because he fought fire with fire. He took down Merab, right? When Merab was trying to take him down, he was like, I'm going to take you down too. That plays a factor inside Merab's head, physically and mentally as well.
It's the mental side.
Yeah, mental
it
side.
changes everything.
Yeah.
There's not a singular approach.
Yeah.
What do we think of Ruffy versus Chandler? Chandler obviously is one of the UFC's probably bigger stars who's been in and out of trying to get this McGregor fight for years.
He got it.
Yeah,
he got his own way.
And now he's on the White House card. And then you got Ruffy who's on a tear, who's been training with Volk. And, there's a lot of hype behind the nerves. But now Ruffy's kind of, I feel like, breaking away a little bit, creating his own name. Yep. This is a big fight. But do we feel this is as competitive as it's, being hyped up to be?
I mean, we don't know, right? So Michael Chandler's last fight was Paddy Pimblett.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Didn't look all that. No. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He got smoked. Paddy had a field day with him and made it look easy.
Yeah.
People, behind the scenes tell me that he wasn't training, that he took Paddy lightly. Doesn't matter. That's the fight that happened. So you can't say that. Ruffy is looking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Though. So, and Michael Chandler's not going to shoot. Because he just doesn't. He's like Justin Gaethje like that. So this will play out on the feet and it'll be a very fun matchup. Will Michael Chandler get knocked out? Maybe. Will Ruffy get dominated? You don't know. Yeah. Listen, Chandler's one of those guys. Yeah, he lost to Paddy, but look at him beforehand. Dustin Poirier.
Charles
Oliveira.
Justin Gaethje. Fight of the year contenders. Yeah. They were crazy fights.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely bangs. I definitely thought he was going to be fighting McGregor on this card, though. I thought we were finally going to get the McGregor-Chandler saga. Yeah. But, I was told from a good source, but this, obviously my sources aren't, the UFC. They're just sources. But I was told that he was offered the McGregor fight a later time, and he said, I'm not going to wait anymore. I'd rather fight at the White House.
He would rather fight on the White House.
That's what I heard.
I mean, that's a historical event.
Yeah.
Right? And nowhere when they look down, at the presidency, and it's like he was like, I threw a fucking UFC event in the White House. Like,
that's all time.
That's all time.
No, it's all time.
Yeah,
and to do it with the UFC, I mean, it puts UFC in such a worldwide viewing. Like UFC's really could become like the American sport. It's not going to surpass basketball or football or baseball.
Well, yeah, but think about it though. They could have had a football game on the lawn, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're having a UFC event.
And one day they called it human cockfighting.
Yeah, it's so crazy. The senator, who was it, McCain?
Senator John McCain.
John McCain, yeah. I remember that.
Yep. He says human cockfighting shouldn't be illegal.
Next, we have one of Michael Bisping's sparring partners, Bo Nickal.
That is correct.
Versus Kyle. And we've heard a lot about this fight. I've talked to some people at Vayner about getting Kyle on the podcast because I want to hear his story as well. But Bo Nickal is an American wrestler at heart. I mean, he's phenomenal. This fight deserved to have him on there for sure. What do we think about this, Bisping?
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nickal's undefeated. We all know about the wrestling accolades that he's
not
got.
undefeated.
Everything. No, sorry, no.
Lost RDR.
Yeah, of course he did.
I was like,
I saw your face. I'm like, what have I said? I just got back from England on Friday.
He actually just got out of a surgery this morning.
This morning. I was sedated and completely under, but I don't miss an episode. And certainly when the legend and the Hall of Fame is in the house.
Thank you.
The big story is about Kyle Dawkins. Kyle Dawkins, very capable fighter, lost a few fights, got cut from the UFC on the regional scene. I think it was 3 or 4 in a row. All first round stoppages. Comes back to UFC Paris last year. Who was it? Michel Pereira.
Yep.
And I thought, and I was even talking about it on commentary, saying, one thing that Kyle Dawkins doesn't have is the explosive power of Michel Pereira. And then next minute later, boom, knocks him out cold. I think it was like a little check left hook from Kyle Dawkins. Put him to sleep, made me look like an absolute fool, but that's the game. And then he followed it up with another one. So a little surprising because he just came back, but Bo Nickal, Kyle Dawkins, 2 Americans going at it. I like it.
I like it too. I think that it's a good step in the right direction for Bo Nickal. Obviously, he had a hard time at RDR, and I think he came back and won his last one after that. And I always said this to Bo Nickal, to himself. I still feel Bo Nickal still understanding how to fight, right? He has such a huge accolade of wrestling that he didn't go through what me and you went through, which was the amateur career, having those tough back and forth fights where you're down on the scorecards and fighting, and then you got to fight your way back into the fight and end up winning that fight. I think this is a good step in the right direction on the White House card. He's going to tough Kyle, and we'll see what he can do. See if he's been able to improve his game, because we all know he can out-wrestle anybody, right? But can he out-wrestle somebody when it's mixed martial arts? Wrestling, pure wrestling compared to mixed martial arts wrestling is too different.
Can he out-wrestle them when there's a fence to lean on? And you can play the wizard and the underhook and all that kind of stuff.
And then the knees come in, the elbows come in, the snap down with the guillotine. All those things play a factor where I think he just hasn't had as many reps as me you have had from the amateur days.
I think you bring up a great point because, I don't know about you, but I can speak from my experience and a lot of other fighters. When you first start fighting, it's such a crazy experience. The adrenaline is through the roof. And the longer your career goes, you learn to control that adrenaline. And then by the end of my career, I was cool. I was calm. I was collected. I knew what was going on in there. At the start, I didn't have a clue. I was redlining on adrenaline and just fighting on instinct. I think Bo, because of all those thousands of wrestling matches and competing at places like Madison Square Garden, he's come into the fight world now and he's starting off at that calmness, that presence of mind. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No, but you might need a little bit of oh shit.
But you do. You need a bit of that, a
little edge,
raw, animalistic. What's the third word I'm looking for?
You had that tenacity when you fought.
Animal instinct.
Animalistic.
Barbarian.
I'm gonna get this motherfucker.
I mean, anybody who watched a Michael Bisping fight saw a guy who was ready to kill. Like you were like, you have this aggression and passion in you that was incredible. You could feel it. You could see it when you watch. You watch a guy like sometimes when some of Khalil Roundtree's fights, he's like so calm and just kind of like.
But he has a killer instinct.
I'm not saying he doesn't. It's just you don't physically see it.
That's how you want to be.
That's how you want to see it.
That was to my detriment. That was clearly to my detriment. That's why I worked hard to resolve that with Jason Perillo.
Got it.
You want that. You want that, but you do need a bit of it as well, like Mighty Mouse said.
Yeah, like when you see Khalil strike, you can tell everything he throws, there's an emotion attached to it.
Yeah.
Right? You can see it in him where he throws those fucking kicks.
Yep.
When he walked on Homeboy, he about to fucking kill him like Michael Myers.
Smith, I remember
Anthony
that.
Smith, like you can see he has emotion. And sometimes I could play against the athlete because you throw everything with the emotions, and then when it gets countered back, you're not just using your physical, you're also mentally tied to everything you throw out there, right? Which you don't want to have that emotion, but when that shit fucking lands, it fucking cracks.
Yeah, it's crazy you bring that up because I talked to him and many times he's told me, even in the sparring with Hamza, his biggest thing is he loves to control his mind, what he's thinking about, what he's breathing. He loves to control himself in a way.
Yeah.
Like he loves to be in this flow. And then you see that from him. Like even when he trains, he's constantly training in and out of this flow where you don't see the emotion on his face, if he's tired, if he's sad, if he's mad, if something hurt. Like he's not going to give you much to bite on.
But that's great, and that's how you want to be to a certain degree. You want to be almost robotic, you know, where there's just nothing emotional. You're just following directives. But you do need a bit of that. You do need a bit of, certainly when it's not going your way. That's where the heart and the will to win comes in. Can't be robotic then. And then also when you see someone's hurt, when you've landed a shot and you're like, oh. Then you got to be ready to go in for the kill, you know, and you got to have that savageness about you.
This is a massive fight for Diego Lopes, coming off of that loss with Volk, 2-time title contender, one of the best fighters in the division. I feel, me personally, is one of the most entertaining fighters as well. Something with when he fights Volk, you don't get that edge from him. But besides that, I mean, you saw what he did with Jean Silva. He's incredible. We have had Steve Garcia on the pod. He is an amazing guy to talk to. This is a big fight. Mighty, what do you think about this?
You know, I don't know too much about Steve Garcia, but I can speak about Diego Lopes. Big fan of his. You know, I said each time he fought Alex Volkanovski, you know, you're not just fighting his body, you're fighting his IQ. Right, his footwork IQ, how he's going. That's the main thing, and I think it's good for Diego Lopes to get that experience at the highest level in that featherweight division. Now that he's still young, this is an opportunity for him to almost reset the clock. Okay, like I fought. Not what I mean by resetting the clock. It's okay. I fought the champ twice. I lost. I'm not going to beat Alex Volkanovski anytime soon. By the time I get to the opportunity again, he's going to be long gone. So, what are the things that I can fix if I were to fight Alex Volkanovski again? How can I beat him? And it's the footwork. That's the thing I think that's lacking for Diego Lopes. Each time I watch him fight Alex Volkanovski, first time he wasn't adjusting to Alex's footwork. Second time he did adjust to Alex's footwork.
But not enough.
But not enough. I was going to get them, motherfucker. Give me a chance. Not give me a chance. Huh? Hey, remember we used to work at UFC Tonight? You're like, spit it out, Junior. But
come on here, start talking shit.
No, I'm not. But the second time they fought, he made adjustments. And then Alex made an adjustment. Then he wasn't able to make the next adjustment to the footwork. But now he gets a fresh canvas, taking on Steve Garcia. He come out there and say, okay, let me work my way into this and work on my footwork to see if I can learn something when I fought Alex Volkanovski.
I don't think it's going to matter in this one because Steve Garcia, he's on an 8-fight win streak.
Ooh.
7 of them are all stoppages.
Damn.
Most of them in the very first round.
Okay.
He is an absolute stone cold killer. And we spoke to him recently in here and he said he ain't planning on fighting any other way. He said, I'm opening up the White House. I've been given this opportunity because of my recent form. I'm not changing a thing and that's how I'm going to fight.
This is Diego
Lopes is going to do the exact same thing. And that's why this is, and I sound like a company man, because they always call me that, but this is the perfect way to kick off this fight because it's going to be ridiculous.
Is this it? There's no prelims or nothing?
That's it.
No prelims.
It. Oh, fuck.
6
all right.
fights.
Shit,
they should do like some.
I'll be on my motherfucking seat. Right when the
Are you going?
Huh?
Are you going?
No. I mean, like, you know, usually like the
If
prelims
they
will
invite
start.
you, will you go?
No, the security's gonna be too out the roof. I don't want to deal with all that shit, and I want to stay home, make content. So, but
of course,
I love the fact that they're just jumping right into it.
Yeah.
Like let's start off with a fucking banger.
Maybe they'll do like an air show with some fighter jets and maybe like a big. Yeah, they might do some crazy stuff before. I don't know.
Maybe we'll see.
I've heard some crazy stuff, but one thing I want to talk about. Bisping, you are a middleweight champion and you're considered, you know, one of the greatest the division's ever seen. Mighty, you're considered one of the greatest MMA fighters the world's ever seen. And you've had much success in UFC and in one championship. Both of you had to have that conversation with yourself at some point. When is enough enough? When is any more title defenses needed? You know, do I still want to fight? Right now we see a guy like Izzy, who's like a middleweight GOAT, I believe.
Yep,
I believe he's done stuff in the middleweight division. Most people, I don't even think enough people in modern day MMA give him the credit for. I feel like we
Anderson
forgot.
Silva and Israel Adesanya. They're the two greatest.
I don't think people give him the credit.
Anderson, number 2, Israel Adesanya. You can't deny what he did.
Where does he go from here then?
He came here. He was extremely dominant. He defended the belt 5 times. He was an interim champion before that as well. Took on all comers, had a ridiculous strength of schedule. There is nothing negative you can say. And do you know what really impressed me on Saturday night as well? It's the way that given the fact that he'd lost 4 out of his last 5, and he's a taller guy, he's a longer guy, he's a quicker guy, he's technically a better striker, kickboxer, on paper than Joe Pyfer. He didn't play it safe. He wasn't on the back foot. He wasn't circling and using his jab and teeps and just doing anything he could to stay away and play it safe because he had to get a win. He was like, no, I'm here to fight. Yep. And that's what he did. He stood there and went toe-to-toe with Joe Pyfer. Yes, it didn't go his way, but you got to respect what you saw. Now, to answer your question, I would have liked to have seen him retire. I think it's time. I don't think he owes anything to anybody. And we talk about him and Anderson Silva. Look at Anderson Silva. Same thing, I think it was like 4 or 5 in a row with a couple of losses before that. One win over, Derek Brunson. That
was kind of it.
Yeah. The fighter's the last person to find out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not much and you don't feel it in the gym. But clearly, you see it in the results. I mean, is this when he knocked out Pereira? Just unbelievable. Yeah. And he should get praise for that as well because he lost to Pereira. Yeah. And then in his next fight, took him on again. Didn't get a chance.
Lost him in kickboxing. Then Pereira came over here like the boogeyman after that famous interview. Beats him in the UFC. Then has to deal with the boogeyman in the UFC, and then eventually gets his win back. But I mean,
what do you think, DJ?
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your opinion?
Obviously, for me, I saw it live, and for me, I think he's done everything in the middleweight division. He's reached the pinnacle of the sport of mixed martial arts, and he's been able to be successful at the pinnacle of the sport. I think it's just time to call it a night. I mean, he's made enough money. He has no wife. He has no kids. From what he's spoken about, what his father's done with his money and his investment, he doesn't have to work another day in his life. But as an athlete, and me, you can speak about this. Is when you're grinding every single day to become a better mixed martial artist, when you stop that, things change. Things happen. You got to find something else to basically
put that energy into,
right? And I think he can do it. He's a great dancer. He also does DJing. I saw he did one of the summer DJs in New Zealand. So why not make that your love? Because whatever he's gonna do, he's gonna do 100%. He's gonna be successful, right? Like people would so many people get in the sport of mixed martial arts to make a lot of money, become a world champion. He's done both those things. Yeah. Now I just don't see a reason for him to, continue to injure himself.
But we know why. Because he doesn't want to prove to the world. He wants to prove to himself. I know I've still got it. If I did this in the fight, if I did that in the fight.
If you zip right, if you zip left, you dip left.
I could have got him. I should have, would have, could have, all the rest of it. Everything you said, completely agree with. Yeah. But he wants that feeling again. He wants to show the world, but more importantly, himself, that I've still got it. Yeah. And I don't think he should. Yeah. Because clearly, 5 out of your last 6 now haven't gone your way. And of course, all dangerous opponents.
Of course.
No shame.
He's never gonna get an easy opponent. Nobody's
no
gonna.
Way. They're gonna keep feeding him to the wolves now. He's too big of a name.
He's too big of a name. I guarantee he pays too high to give him.
They just made Joe Pfeiffer a celebrity now.
Yeah.
Joe Pfeiffer is now a celebrity. He's a star now. He's a star in the making because of that fight.
No, of course. Number 4. He'll be ranked number 4 today.
Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing and they know how to build fights. We got like 10 minutes left with Mighty Mouse, and I know you have a big training session tonight. I want to talk to you. Is there a current fighter on the roster that you would not want to have fought? Not because you fear him, but because stylistically it's not a fighter you would want to have fought?
No. I think anybody I wouldn't mind fighting, because we would have sat down and looked at there's 2 different parts of me, right? There was a part of me where I was like, dude, I am not fucking fighting anybody. I'm good. I don't want to fight anybody. But there's a part of me like the athlete, the martial artist in me, where I'll look at every single opponent and be like, okay, how can we beat this person, right? Like, how can we do it? I mean, there's a lot of guys who have a lot of dangerous weapons, but if I was in the peak of my career and money was good enough, I would have fought anybody.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean,
same with you, Mike?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, of course, I can sit here and look at guys that look like they would be an absolute problem. Yeah. In my prime, because I'm not in my prime, but in my prime would have been an issue. But the fighter in me, if I got the opportunity to take them on, there's absolutely no way I would ever have said no. Because I'm like, you know what? That's what gets me out of bed. That's what excites me. That's what this sport's supposed to be about. Mm-hmm. Not taking easy fucking fights that you know you can win. Yep. It's supposed to be about challenging yourself. So yeah, and as you said, break it down, try and find a way, a strategy, the techniques that are going to come into play. But more importantly, just from the personal challenge, I'd be like, Let's
Well, that's why both of you are world champions too. I feel like you guys love challenges. Mighty, you've said many times, like you said today in the cage, you love to be able to figure something out, sit down with your team, kind of dissect it. We see the same thing you've done with your career. You've gone and made millions, made world championship titles, defended it, and now you're probably one of the biggest content creators in the MMA space. And you do amazing content. You're training with world-class champions like you are tonight. Listen, for the last 5 minutes, I'm going to say a name. You're going to give me a short, one-word, one-sentence description of that fighter. First thing that comes to your mind, you're going to let me know what you think. I'm going to start off with you, Bisping. Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. I mean, the biggest star the sport's ever seen.
All right, not bad.
Unicorn.
Mighty Mouse.
Unicorn.
That's a good one.
Can't steal my word.
When you play, okay, fuck.
Caveat.
Yeah. When I was playing Counter-Strike, if all the gamers out there know what that is, it's like one of like the first-person shooters. I was on there and I was talking to some. Oh, okay. I was talking to a random person. I was like, you know who Conor McGregor is? He goes, of course I fucking do. You think I'm living on the rock? And I was like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He can't go anywhere.
Over
everyone knows.
Everywhere.
All right, Mighty Mouse. Khamzat Chimaev.
A wolf. Like he comes and does what he fucking does. Like he has a style that he implements on his opponents, and nobody like what he was able to do to DDP. I was like, he out wrestled him. Like what I would love to see him, spin over doing an armbar 1000%, but he fucked him up.
Yeah, and he was trying to finish as well, contrary to what everyone was saying.
I don't know why he gets that.
He was trying to finish the fight.
I think him doing
DDP did a good job of surviving.
I call him jack off punches because you're not boom.
He was looking to get a win. You saw Armin every time he went to the corner. Armin kept saying, "Yo, stick to wrestling. This fight's over." I mean, they're trying to get a world title.
Of
right?
course,
At the end of the day,
everything changes.
Bisping, I got one for you.
The man's a monster, though. That's how I describe him.
Sean
He's
Strickland,
an absolute monster. Sean Strickland. That's a complicated one. I could go on all day. I used to train with Sean a lot. Overachiever. I didn't think he'd be in this position that he is now.
Wow.
He became champion of the world. I didn't think he'd beat Israel Adesanya. I did not think. I mean, I thought it would be a problematic matchup for Fluffy, and I wasn't looking at it like that because I was commentating. That one never surprised me. But beating him the way that he did, and then now being in a position to fight Khamzat Chimaev, as I say, I think he's an overachiever in a lot of ways. He's not the biggest athlete. He's not the fastest, the strongest, all the rest of it. But he's got a rock solid mind. He's got a crazy gas tank. He works his ass off, spars all the time, and that's the best way to train for a fight if you can not get injured. So I think that's a compliment. It's not an insult.
No, I like where you're going with that.
He's one of the biggest overachievers.
Yeah, most people probably don't give him the credit for coming up the way he did and accomplishing the things he did.
He's had a tough road.
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse John Jones.
Greatest of all time.
Besides you?
No, I for the things he's been able to do against the opponents he's fought, I've seen him work out in the room. His IQ is very high. I'm very athletic. And the things he's been able to do inside the octagon, like I would say, me and him will go back and forth, from the things I've done in the octagon and what he's done in the octagon. I'll say greatest of all time.
Bisping, Dana White.
Dana White, I mean, he's the fucking man. Simple as that. Dana's always been, and you can call me a company man, and you set me up here to get some shit online by asking me that.
Dana White's, he's a G.
He's probably the greatest commissioner in the history of
let me
sports.
tell you something. There's a lot of shit that goes on that people don't see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he takes care of a lot of people.
Yeah.
He doesn't want it out there, so I'm not going to say anything. But for me personally, he's never let me down. They took a chance on this sport and turned this sport into what it is. Yeah, of course, everyone wants to get paid more money, and that's natural. And listen, I sit here having done very well through mixed martial arts, as have you. I left school at 16, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I still do very well through this sport. So
I don't think he gets enough credit for being the commissioner he is. Obviously, I'm in business. Obviously, I love business. What he's done to create the business of the UFC, where any fighter could come through the ranks and create a name and get brand deals and do things. Show me that in jiu-jitsu. Show me that outside of the UFC. Show me one other mixed martial artist organization that can create a sustainable business model for more than 2 years.
That
Show
hasn't
me
gone
one.
bust.
Yeah, so unless and maybe the GFL will set us differently. We'll see how that
one
does.
The GFL, yeah, that's going to be the one. It's going to change the game.
It might be GFL. All right, Mighty Mouse
is the man.
Jake Paul.
Entrepreneur. I mean, for what Jake Paul's been able to do with boxing, this is the one thing I don't know much about boxing that I've never really liked about it. And it's like, I come from a background of martial arts where it's like, you fight the best. You don't get to pick and choose. You go to an amateur event and it's like, hey, you're fighting this fucking guy. You don't know what his name is. You don't know what his record is. And you're going to fight him. And then after that, you're going to do it again in 6 weeks and so forth. So for him to come down this boxing path and be able to make millions of dollars.
Yep.
And when they get to pick and even boxers, I guess it's the way it goes in boxing. You get to pick and choose who you are fighting. Where for me, he's been able to be successful at doing that.
But typically, and I agree. I call him a businessman or an entrepreneur, and I think he's been wildly successful. In fact, that's a fact. I don't think we all know.
Yeah.
What he's done is insane. But what you said there, typical boxers don't get to pick and choose their opponents until they get to a certain level. Of course, because of his background and the fame that he already had from YouTube, he's created something. And listen, he hasn't been a fan of some of the things that I've had to say because
you're keeping it real.
I didn't look at him as a real fighter. I'm like, bro, you cherry picking older guys, smaller guys, Mike Tyson, shit like that. All right, he had the Anthony Joshua thing, which was a crazy one, right? Yeah. Again, I mean, he ran away a lot of the time and then got sparks when he finally Joshua could get his hands on him. All he's got to do, and he doesn't need my respect, he doesn't give a fuck about my opinion. And I wish him nothing but the best because I don't know the guy. Yeah. So I've got nothing personal against him. Bro, fight someone like you did with Tommy Fury, but even just fight a ranked cruiserweight in their prime. Yep. And there you go.
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
That's all you got to do.
It's almost like, hey, I want to be, if you want to be taken seriously, like you said, like, I would like to see him and say, hey, I'm going to fight somebody who's my age, my weight, who's maybe 6-0, 7-0 inside the gym, that's working his way up, right? Like, get in an amateur circuit where it's like, hey, all right, you're 7-0, I'm 7-2. I'm going to see how well I do. And it's going to be 8 rounds and just do it like that. But there's no money in that.
Yeah.
Correct.
There's no money in that.
I think he's putting on prize fights and getting $50 million contracts from Netflix. So he's just putting on entertainment.
But I do want to add, because I look like a straight up hater, what he's done for these people and the opportunities that he's given to a lot of fighters, that's got to be
incredible.
Commended.
And now
that's
women's fighting.
Commended.
Him and Nikisa have put on for women's boxing. Mighty, I got another one for you. Ronda Rousey.
I'll say Trailblazer. I mean, she's opened up her and Gina Carano have opened up that spotlight for the women, mostly Ronda Rousey, and her coming back and fighting, Gina Carano. It'll be a good fight for Netflix, and I felt like she really transcended the sport for women inside of mixed martial arts.
Who wins, Ronda Rousey or Gina Carano?
Oh man, it's hard because Gina Carano's been away from the sport for a long
17 years,
motherfucking time, and it's not like she's 28; she's 43 years old, right? And so, I'm going to go with Ronda just because Ronda's been active in the sport. What is it going to be like when Gina Carano gets punched in the face? When's the last time she got punched in the face? Like, there's a difference when 17 years away from the sport. That's
17 years.
17 years. That's a
very long time. I mean, I
time.
retired, and it feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
7 years.
And
which is crazy.
Yeah.
17. Add another decade onto that.
Add 10 more.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And the thing is, too, once again, it's like, Amanda Nunes. There's so many other girls, like Kayla Harris having a great. I mean, I think it's gonna be a great fight, and I'm excited to see it.
Bisping, Colby Covington.
Colby Covington. Oh, that's a complicated one. Oof. When you meet Colby, the nicest guy.
Okay.
Great manners, and I've been very, very impressed with him.
Okay.
He talks a lot of shit. I guess in some ways you could say he's kind of like a Jake Paul in the MMA world.
Tries to sell the fight.
Yeah, because remember he was going to get cut after a certain fight, and then he went crazy on all the Brazilians and this and that, and then was born this new version. What's your opinion on Colby Covington? He's a great fighter. I mean, he fought for the belt on a number of occasions.
You cannot take anything away from him. When he steps inside the octagon, he's a fucking absolute chaos.
He just smashed Dylan Dennis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the Rack.
And Rockhold as well, right?
And he beat Rockhold.
I was shocked that he beat Rockhold.
That was crazy. But Luke didn't train, and I'm not going to make excuses.
And
Luke had a bad back. I love Luke. I love Luke.
Luke's going to walk in a minute.
Yeah, I love
time.
Luke.
Oh, shit.
He walks in and makes it weird, slinking in.
I think now we're starting to see the true version of Colby Covington. Not the shit talker, right? Like, I feel like when I see him on like interviews, it's mostly like, fuck that guy, he's a clown.
Yeah.
Now I feel like we're starting to see like the legit Colby, because I feel like now he's starting to move away from that villain role.
Yeah, he wants to payday too.
Well, it's not just like you come to a certain part of your life, age in your life, where you're like, shit, okay, I've done that. I've created who I was. I've made some money. I've used that to parlay it into title fights and big fights and making money and endorsements and stuff like that. Now, at a certain point, you got to be true to yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a big run-in with Jorge Masvidal, and the street gangster himself that Jorge Masvidal is. He don't play that. Jorge is a gang. I'm gonna have him back on the pod soon. He's
Masvidal
the man.
came for me.
When?
Yeah, years ago when we fought at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like I didn't even know who it was. But the whole Yoel Romero thing.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a long story to that, which I won't tell now. We can do it on another episode. But I tore up a little Cuban flag.
Oh,
Yoel was like,
man.
you know, he was
that's
blowing.
Yoel's the captain of Cuba.
He was blowing kisses at me through the octagon, and I'm like this, and I rip up a flag and stuff.
Oh, that's what he is. I see you soon.
Yeah.
Boy.
So then Masvidal came for me in the hotel lobby, and we got into a whole thing. But you know what? We are more than cool.
Yeah.
It's funny. We met.
We got to bring it back on.
And like we laughed, we hugged it out. We had a couple of beers. We shared an Uber to the airport the next day.
Hey,
a lot of stories. You know what I mean?
You want the right side or left side?
Masvidal's the man, dude.
He's the man.
I got two more before we wrap up. Mighty Mouse Francis and Gane.
A believer. I think for somebody who was a heavyweight champion of the world in the UFC, leave his contract and go pursue to make more money somewhere else, that's taking a big chance on himself. And he believed in himself. And he made more money probably in the boxing match against Anthony Joshua than he has his whole entire career. Yeah. And that's just a crazy thing about fucking boxing, man. Like, he's doing half the fucking work. He's doing half the work and they get so much more money, and it just blows my mind. So I'll say a believer because a lot of people who are in that position would not have taken that chance.
Hey, listen, he went out there, he fought Tyson Fury. I thought he beat Tyson Fury in that first fight, if I'm honest. Yeah. But Tyson didn't train. We know that.
Yeah.
Joshua, we saw what happened. Now he's got a big fight again on, what is it? MVP, whatever.
Yep. Netflix.
He's going to get paid well for that.
Yeah.
Fair play to him. He's a big, strong, scary motherfucker. You know, fair play, man.
Yeah.
And I got two things for you, Mighty Mouse. We see at UFC 327, the flyweight co-main event, Joshua Van versus Tatsuro. Tatsuro trained here a little bit with Coach Pereira. The kid's boxing is incredible, and he's actually very respectful, very kind. I love his work ethic. We've had Joshua Van on multiple times, good friend and partner of Jaxxon, and he does amazing, and lives in another level. He's also the same guy who said he didn't know who you were.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah, I have him on a podcast and we talked about it.
Just to clear it up, I called Mighty that night and I said, listen, we got to educate this kid. I'm going to connect you. Mighty said, put us in a group chat. So we got him in a group chat. Yeah. And then he came on the pod.
We talked and it was hilarious. You know, he's so young that I was like, do you know who Joseph Benavidez is? He goes, I don't. And then I was like, what about John Dotson? And then he goes, nah. And I was like, these are your forefathers who paved the way for you, right? Great.
They built this division for you.
Great guy. And that fight against him versus Tara is going to be a great fight because I feel it's going to be the old school Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz, sprawl and brawl, right? But Tara has great hands, right? He's got great hands, but we know where he wants to be. He wants to be on his back, body triangle, looking for submission, right? If Joshua Van can keep it on his feet and get into those flurries like he always does, I think Joshua Van should come up with the victory. But Tattoo Tara is no joke. Like I think if Japan's gonna have its first UFC champion, it's gonna be him.
Got it.
I'm just trying to look at my notes. Oh, there it is. Because Tyder can do it all, man.
Yeah, he can.
I am telling you,
when I saw him fight,
level.
when he fought and how fast he's throwing his jab and how he moves.
Let me find it.
I mean, he closes distance with his jab, incredible, but he lives behind his hands. Go ahead.
Who was it? Hold on 1 second. Hold on. This will blow your mind. His next door neighbor was a Pride legend. Who the fuck was it?
Kisui Sakuraba.
No, it wasn't Sakuraba.
Not Carl Uno.
Not Carl Uno.
Not Takanori Gomi.
God damn. Not Gomi. You're on the right path.
Legend.
God.
Hayato Sakurai.
Might have been Sakurai. I think it was. Hold on. I got it in my notes here somewhere.
Damn, this man study on the fucking next pay-per-view card.
Bro, you have no idea like the notes and studying that we have to do. I had it in here somewhere. I know I did, but it's not here now. So that was a stupid point. And I apologize to everyone watching because we are all a little bit more stupid after listening to that. Because I don't have it.
Yeah.
But his next door neighbor was like, Sakurai. I think it was Sakurai.
Hayato Sakurai?
Yeah,
maybe.
I think it was. Yeah. Anyway, so what I'm saying
was it Horiguchi?
From a very, very early age.
No, I know, but
from
they're
like,
saying that
he was raised in that kind of culture.
Oh, of course.
And learning those kind of techniques.
Yeah.
So he's got no weak areas.
Yeah. No, I think it's gonna be a great fight, and I think it's a perfect fight for what's his name? Joshua Van to get him ready for Alex Pantoja when Alex Pantoja does decide to come back. Because we know Pantoja's going to throw the kitchen sink at you and get on your fucking back.
Yeah, no, of course.
So
I looked it up and it just said that he grew up near Horiguchi, but that's not a
Kyoji Horiguchi?
Yeah, but that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He grew up in
The
Okinawa.
inside baseball, I just didn't have the actual deal sinker.
It's all good, baby.
And then last thing is who I was gonna tell you something, but it's fine. Last thing is, how do you think Moicano is gonna do at his next fight?
Renato Moicano?
Yeah.
Chris Duncan this weekend,
Versus Duncan.
Saturday night.
He's gonna he can't afford to lose. He needs to pay bills. So I think he's gonna do well.
Yeah, what did he? He lost to Beneil Dariush.
Yeah.
Before that, he lost to Islam Makhachev. He's fighting Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan he's called the problem, but he is a problem. He doesn't take a backward step. He's got really big power. Trains at American Top Team, just like Moicano.
Yep.
So he's getting better all the time at the grappling side of things. Obviously, when you look at Moicano, you go back
Kid
to that
Yamamoto.
fight. Kid Yamamoto, that's who it was.
Sorry,
He was too young. He was too young for Kid Yamamoto.
No, Kid Yamamoto. He obviously passed away, but he was a Pride Dream legend who grew up in Okinawa, close to where.
Maybe it was Kid Yamamoto.
Tatsuro.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but
Right.
Moicano, when you look at him, his best performance, I think, was against Benoit Saint-Denis in Paris. He absolutely butchered him. If that version of Moicano comes back, Chris Duncan has got a problem.
Yeah.
I'm commentating the fight, so I can't make a prediction, but who do you think wins that, DJ?
I like to see Renato Moicano because I feel like he can do everything. Like the stories I've heard about him in the gym, beating a lot of people, not just on the feet, but on the feet and on the ground. Yeah. I think he can get it done. Yeah, I know. All
right, so we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate Mighty Mouse coming through. We have a big podcast right now.
Great
and Behind
to see
the
Mighty
Brand.
Mouse.
Always good to see you, man.
We've got some funny stories over the years.
Coldplay, my favorite one.
Coldplay. Hey, listen to this. So he's fighting Joseph Benavidez in the main event and the co-main event against Brian Stan.
Yep.
UFC said, hey, there's a Coldplay concert in town. You guys want to get tickets? So me and my team, we go and watch Coldplay. You know what I mean? Right? We look behind us. There's Demetrious Johnson with his opponent, Joseph Benavidez, going to the concert together. And they're fighting in like 3 days.
Yeah. And then
You went to Coldplay with Benavidez?
it was a
Coldplay.
great fucking concert.
They were holding hands and everything.
We're like,
they were crying. They
And
were
we're like,
hugging.
we're gonna make all this money. We're gonna fight. And then a good one was like, I was fighting UFC in Canada, and then I don't know who you were fighting on that card, but you fought. And then you end up beating the guy, and then next thing you know, I'm about to get ready. There's a picture of Matt massaging my back, and then you have your fucking you just have underwear on. You're like, yeah, fucking fun. Just good times. We found out so many cars together.
Yeah.
Mighty's got a big pod right now with Hamzat Chimaev. They have a training camp right now, so he's got to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. The behind the scenes will be on Jaxxon Behind the Brand, and we have plenty of more episodes coming this year.